What is good, everyone? Welcome back to Nate Trades. Today is Wednesday, June 24th, and today is day 3 of documenting my journey to becoming a consistently profitable day trader. Today I took 4 trades. I'm going to get into all of them, what went right, what went wrong, where I was following my rules on A+, where I faltered and took a loss. But let's first get right into market bias. Going right into the daily time frame, here we have previous day low, we have relative equal lows at previous day low. And then on the 4-hour time frame, we have relative equal lows with this 4-hour intermediate low. And then as just another draw, we have this 4-hour intermediate high right up here. All right, on the 15-minute time frame, you can really just see that we're consolidating. We're creating relative equal highs, just a load of them, and then just trend line liquidity below. So yeah, my bias entering the day was neutral. I was leaning bearish because of the previous day low, the 4-hour intermediate low, those being relative equal lows, and then just the overall bearish market structure. So yeah, all right, getting right into the first trade setup. I did take a short. Now, structure-wise, NQ had retraced into this 15-minute fair value gap, and we had put in a bearish SMT here with ES sweeping the high, NQ didn't. Now, as a note, the trendline liquidity, the relative equal highs, on NQ, ES had already ran those pre-market, and so this was just a resweep of that high, so I was very confident in this. And then as our target here, I was targeting the 4-hour intermediate low and not the previous day low, simply for RR reasons. So we got clean displacement down. My original plan, my mechanical plan is to go break even here, but because of the relative equal lows just looking really, really, really good here, I decided I didn't want to go break even until we hit those. So we did end up hitting those right here. I moved my stop to break even and then unfortunately got stopped out. All right, this second trade is one that I broke my rules on and I'm not proud of it. I'll explain the reason I took it, but the reason I shouldn't have taken it. So the reason I shouldn't have taken it is because there was an SMT with this high and ES had reswept the high or retaken the high, and therefore I should not have taken the trade because that is one of my rules. Now the reason I did take it was because we clearly just, manipulated lower, swept that out. And I thought even though there was an SMT and even though ES had already ran these relative equal highs over here, I thought NQ would just do that now. So unfortunately, I took that trade and I did lose on this one. Absolutely should not have taken this one. It was breaking my rules. I knew it. These are the kind of trades that give me stress. And so, yeah, that was that for the second trade. All right, now the third trade that I took, this one was not very A+. I would just call this one a mid setup. I think my emotions from getting break even on the first trade and then losing the second trade when not following my rules, it just like affected me a little bit. So this was the trade setup. I thought we were just going for the high again. NQ had left like dang near equal lows below, and so I didn't even consider longing down here. But then after all this massive displacement, I was like, well, I guess we're just not going for low. Maybe an SMT with ES is having something to do with that. Anyways, I took a long position here. I went break even at the very close high. Kind of stupid, honestly. Dumb spot for a break even. Not super proud of that. And then it did end up running the highs, I believe, later. But yeah, I went break even here, just got wicked out. Just very small trade, wasn't A plus. Just a mid-tier trade setup. I wasn't so confident in the highs that I would consider going break even here. I did think about it, but just because of these relative equal lows, I just didn't. All right, the final trade setup I did take for the day was A plus. I'm very proud of this trade. I executed well, but unfortunately got break even with partials on it. So what I did was this. After ES had gone up and taken out the 4-hour intermediate high, the high inside the fair value gap, the 4-hour fair value gap, NQ just started displacing lower. We had a 15-minute fair value gap created and a clear leg. And then we got clean displacement. So I entered here, went break even, and took a partial at the 15-minute fair value gap, which we still had the relative equal highs here on NQ. So I was like, well, I'm very bearish and towards these equal lows here. But if we're going to be bullish, if we're just going to continue our uptrend here, this 15-minute fair value gap would be a very good place for us to be bullish from towards these relative equal highs. So I wanted to take off. I wanted to go break even, and yeah, there. So that's just my explanation for the break even level here, which unfortunately I did get break even, and then it's just been chopping around ever since. It does look like we're going lower for those relative equal lows, but that is the trade setup that I took. Now, one thing I just wanted to touch on real quick is any of the trade setups that I didn't explain my TP on are just one-to-ones. You can see on a couple of the last ones, they were just above like a small level. It was just for one-to-one. I try to go for a minimum of one-to-one RR. And another thing I do is I take partials, generally on the break-even level, if there's enough contracts in my position, just so that I can get a little bit from the trade, even if it's just a break-even trade. But anyways, that is it for today's trading recap. Wow, what a day. I broke my rules, unfortunately, and I paid for it. Lesson learned. Today could be a green day or a slight green day, but unfortunately I broke my rules and I paid for it. So, lesson learned. We'll be right back at it tomorrow for day 4 tomorrow of becoming a consistently profitable day trader. But that is it for today's video. Today was a lot. That's it for today's video. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and follow your rules. Don't do what I did today. Peace out, boys.